So when we are trying to control the cell cycle, there's also a lot of different checkpoints that you have to make sure that everything is running smoothly. So first of all, there's the G1S restriction point, which I've mentioned before, but now I'll actually go into depth of what it actually is. So this is mostly stuff pertaining to the environment of the cell. So before a cell decides to divide, it has to make sure that there's enough nutrition around it, there's enough room and stuff. And then also, is the cell itself big enough? Did it grow enough? Did it spend enough time in G1 to be big enough to be able to split into two other cells? Also, is there any damage in the DNA? Now, you might be wondering, where did this damage come from? Say everything else went well. Why would this DNA be damaged? Well, one of the things could be from a carcinogen. So, say you were exposed to X rays, or UV light, or smoking. So that can all damage your DNA. So what's going to stop it at this G1S restriction point, we've actually already talked about this one, it's going to be the P21 protein, which inhibits CDK G1S and S CDKs. So it prevents the damaged DNA from replicating. And then there is the G2M checkpoint, which is right before you go into mitosis. So first it's going to say, okay, did we replicate the DNA properly? Is there, again, any damage that happened during DNA replication? Because, you can make mistakes and maybe they went uncorrected. So is there anything wrong? And also, is there enough activated mitosis promoting factor or MCDKs? So those are very important if you want to be able to actually undergo mitosis. So if all those things are good, then you can continue. And then during the M phase, there's the spindle checkpoint, which pretty much makes sure that all the chromosomes are aligned properly along the metaphase plate, and then that they're all properly attached to the mitotic spindle, so that during anaphase, when you separate them properly, and you don't end up with non-disjunctions. Cancer usually starts when a cell fails to respect any one of these checkpoints, but the most common problem is when it fails to respect the G1S restriction point. So let's talk a bit more about how this restriction point is actually regulated.